Hey, welcome back. Today I'll give my 3-year review of playing the Roland TD-200 kick drum, and I hope you find this helpful. I wish somebody had done a review like this on these E-drums before I bought them, but at that time they were still pretty new. So if you're thinking about this kind of kick drum or just looking for some information, I hope you find this useful. So in this video, I'll really cover 3 things about this drum. First, I'll give you a quick overview of the drum. Second, I'll take it apart. I haven't done that, and I've owned this for 3 years, so I'm interested to see what's inside. Then I'll talk about the different types of mallets to use and give it a quick cleaning if it needs it after we take a look inside. And third, I'll give you my opinion on what this drum is like, what I think about it after gigging with it and recording with it, in my opinion, if it's worth buying. So let's jump right in. So this is the Roland VAD 507 kick drum that comes with that drum set, and that Roland released that set in 2020, and that's when I bought it. I bought it in November of 2020, and I just really had a lot of fun with it during COVID and moved away from the acoustic kit that I had. Now this provides a more acoustic looking feeling drum kit, right? It's got the wooden shells. This model has really the midnight sparkle with the chrome lugs, the chrome claws, as well as the spurs. And we'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. The spurs have been pretty durable for me, and it's really helped out in situations whether I'm playing on carpet or cement, which I don't recommend to anybody if you want to take care of your kit. And it's been pretty durable that way as well. So the size, this is a 20 inch. And so if you take a look at this, Roland, if you look it up, Roland says it's 20 by 16. If I do the measurement, it's from end to end of the rims here. It's really 19 and a half. And we're talking about 20 and a half tall. We look at this mesh trigger head. It's 5 inches across. And so a lot of folks, I've seen videos where people talk about this trigger pad being a little tight if you're using a double bass pedal. So I don't. I play with one pedal. You can see where I've marked it up a little bit, and it's gotten some pretty good wear and tear on the foam here. And I try to be careful with how hard I play. And I'm not a hard player generally. So as you can see here, 5-inch mesh foam trigger pad. Then it's got a 1 1/4 trigger jack where you come out and go into your module. So let's go take this apart and see what's inside. I've got one of these drum keys fitted for this size. And let's go ahead and take it apart. Now, taking a look at this, you can see from the top down here, from my other view, this has the plastic snap-ons that hold this together pretty closely. So these things kind of wedge inside. You can see that. Wedge inside the wooden pad. So this is a wooden kind of particle boardy, I think, if you wouldn't really call it pure hard wood. But this is set on top to give you that feel. And then the other side of the head is, it's got my band's logo on it. But this is the head that it came with. It's got a regular drum head, kind of like a black Remo, if you will, on top. But let's dig into that, and we'll take it apart right now, and I'll fast forward through this so you don't have to be bored watching the video of me taking this apart. All right, the moment of truth. Let's see how this thing comes apart. Pretty easy, kind of plasticky drumhead rim up here. And we have the particle board on top. I'm going to be careful about the wire here. So here we have the wire connecting the trigger pad with a clear drum head on top. And if I want to keep this together so the wire does not snap off, I'll show you the other side. So here's the other side. We've got the wire that kind of just snaps right in here. We've got some fasteners holding down with some padding and one main unit right here. So if I try to take these off, looks like they're kind of rubbery. Yep, there we go. Just kind of slide out here. And let's take a look. I'd like to inspect the wear and tear of my pad. So there it is. So that is the sensor right here. And this is known to be the piezo, if I'm saying that correctly. And that piezo is the same sensor that I've seen other videos that talk about this, that's used on the larger KD-222 kick drum that comes with the new VAD 700 series. This kick drum I got came with my VAD 507 series that came out in 2020. That newer, larger kick drum, the 22-inch, I believe, came out earlier in 2023. So I'm being very careful with the sensor. It looks like it's in pretty good shape. I've got some dust on this, so I'm just gonna wipe that off a little bit with slightly damp cloth. And I'm not going to mess with it. And set that down right there. Now I've got this foam pad. So I've got a kind of a pad behind a pad. And here we've got kind of a memory foam pad. Looks pretty clean. Oh, I can pop that off a little bit. I'm going to be careful. So it's a rubber, kind of a rubber washer around the edge, keeping it in place. So I've got the sort of a rubber pad with kind of a Kevlar mesh head coating over that drum head sensor here with another foam pad. And behind it, if you can see, backwards, you'll read that it's a Roland VAD drum head. Probably a 2-ply, maybe a 3-ply. It seems pretty durable, but in pretty good shape. So I'm pretty happy to see that this is not building up. This is not building up any dirt or dust. Of course, I take care of this and make sure it's in good shape. Okay, so I'm going to put this part back together. And I'm going to set this aside so we can take a look at what is on the inside. So on the inside, you can see here, we've got the wind shells, a little bit dusty, not bad, and the drum head has a piece of a 1/4-inch piece of foam to help deaden the sound. But if you hear that, when you take off that, you get a sort of a nice deep bass drum sound, sort of an acoustic sound. And Roland claims that this design they have with the drum head, resonant drum head, and the drum shell being 19 inches deep, plus an air hole here to release the air pressure as you move between it. It just helps a little bit to create that extra, give it a little bit of that extra natural feel of an acoustic drum while you're playing an electric drum. So I'm just going to give it a quick wipe down here on the inside, get some of the dust out. Not much dust at all, really. You can see here in the rag, this is just a damp rag. But I wasn't sure what I was going to find inside here after 3 years, but pretty happy. It's pretty clean. I'll get this back together. I'll fast forward through this part of the video and then talk about the response I get from the velocity of my strikes and the sensitivity of the trigger pad and the type of pedals I'm using, the mallets, and the overall durability here in 1 second. All right, so I got the lugs back in, and now I'm just doing a little hand tightening. So now I see that there's an actual drum head behind this piece of particle board that's held in place by these plastic rubbery feeling clips to help prevent vibration. And then when you press in, you can adjust the feeling of the rebound that you're experiencing off your mallet, off your kick pedal. So the tighter it is, the firmer this is going to be, right? Because there's a drum head underneath this. The looser it is, the mushier it's going to feel. So you do get some control on the type of rebound. If you take a close look, you can see when I press this, it has movement from that drum head. And I bet when I put my hand over the hole here, if things are properly sealed up, yeah, I can actually feel air coming in and out as you would on an acoustic kit. Now, naturally, this brings us to, part 3. What's been my experience? Does it feel like an acoustic head? Does it respond to the velocity, the different volume of my strikes of my mallet against the drum head, against this trigger pad, and durability? So first I'll talk about the feel and the rebound. Yes, it feels different, but you can make that feeling any way you like to be as close as possible to an acoustic drum head, based on what kind of pedal you're using, right? So I want to talk about that for a minute. So pedals have different tensions, of course, and then you can change the feeling of the rebound here, just like I shared. Now, I want to talk about mallets for a second. So there's a lot of articles out there and videos that talk about the different types of mallets. Got a classic rubber mallet that comes from a Speed Cobra, which is the pedal I use. There is for a little bit of a dampened feel with less attack on an acoustic drum head. And then there's this is a DW mallet with the plastic, or the mallet having the cloth. I actually tipped this off my DW 5000 series kick pedal and used this with my Speed Cobra. Sorry to offend any of the purists out there, but it works really well for me. and gives me a wider spot to hit the trigger with. Now, they say that the rubber will work away this trigger pad, as well the cloth. So it's highly recommended. The consensus is out there is to use the plastic side of a kick pad. Pardon me, your kick pedal mallet. So in terms of response and volume, the velocity strikes, it all depends on the sensitivity you program your module to, right? So you plug this into your module, go to the sensitivity settings, and it's worked out really nicely for me. So I got it dialed in just right with how I strike the drum head, the trigger with my mallet, and the way I like to play, and it comes through perfectly. So no complaints there. And then the other part of it is durability. You know, I'm not a power player. I take this out to about 10 gigs a year, and then do recordings in my studio at home. So I move it around a little bit, not a lot, but it's very durable. There are no problems here. So very pleased with the durability, the response, the sensitivity, as well as the feel and the rebound. Now, the other thing I would talk about is, you know, just overall. Bottom line, what do I think about this? Well, you know, who's it for? You know, if you're looking at someone who wants an acoustic-looking drum and wants an all-in built electronic drum by the company that they work with, in my case, I like Roland, and I didn't want to go through the expense and the trouble, although it may have saved me some money, to take my acoustic drum heads, my acoustic drum shells, and turn them into e-drums and building in the triggers. That could save you some money. But for me, I just wanted everything built by the company I'm working with, and the module by the company I'm working with, and the module that I'm using that from. So that's worked out really well for me. That might not be for everyone. So all in all, I've got no complaints. It's stage ready. It's durable. It's a high quality product that's never failed on me. And I love it. I hope you found this video to be helpful. Leave your comments below or questions that you might have. I'd be happy to answer them. And thanks for checking it out. Hope that helps.